Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this January 20th version of AM Live on EOA. We're your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we are glad that you are here. If you want to find our content, go to EOA.network, and that takes you to a link tree where you can find the location of our Facebook and our Instagram, YouTube channel, our website, and also where all of this stuff ends up on podcast networks. Glad that you're here. Here in just a little bit, we are going to have LeGrand School District George Mendoza will be with us. So, how are you, man?
Good.
Good.
Second Monday.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Hey, you did a good job on the show the other day by yourself.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I have to do my stuff and try to do your stuff. I didn't.
Yeah, I had some nasal surgery, and so I was still on the mend and still sound like I have a cold, but no. And it was funny because I was going to drag myself in for that show, and when I woke up on Thursday morning, I was so glad that you had said, nah, I got it. We can handle it. You know.
Well, I mean, thankfully I had somebody that can talk your ear off.
Yeah.
Here for a guest, and it just
Jeff,
happened
you
to
think
happen.
he can talk?
Yeah. It just happened to, we were going to record that
Yeah.
show and put it out.
Yeah.
But he had something come up, and so I was like, well, I mean, we could do it on Thursday morning live.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's a go.
Yeah.
It's a go. So.
He reminds me, I mean, he's a breath of fresh air. I really like Jeb. And if you guys have not seen that show, he's a new orthopedic surgeon who is here in town and has years and years of experience with the Olympic ski team. And anyhow, he is passionate about life and what he does. And, you would, all of that sophistication of an orthopedic surgeon, you just never would guess ever. He doesn't clothe himself in any of that. So it's really nice. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Good morning, Bud. Bud, armchair quarterback, is in the building. I haven't seen him comment in a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're doing okay.
Yeah. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. The Flex Steel Z-Cliner is built for football weekends. With customizable comfort and performance cushioning, it's the ultimate way to relax from pregame to postgame. Test it out today at Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand. I'll have some picks and the tourney champions of this weekend's AAU tournament on Thursday. I'm still waiting for more information to trickle in. I think I have most of them, but I didn't want to talk about it and put up pictures of just some of them. You know what I mean? Because there's some people wouldn't appreciate that. I think EOU men's hoops dropped a tough one on Friday night to Corbin, 66-60, but they bounced back on Saturday to beat Bushnell, 95-67. While the women pushed their record to 17-1, beating Corbin 66-63 on Friday night, and Bushnell 56-45 on Saturday. Kelsey Siegner was named the Defensive Player of the Week in the conference. I think this is the fourth, maybe fifth time that she's either got Defensive or Offensive Player of the Week. She's just having an incredible year. Both teams head to Washington this weekend to take on LCSC and Walla Walla. Kiona Michelle won the 206-pound weight class at the Evergreen Open for the Mountie women wrestling team, and Paige Allen, who's a LeGrand graduate, brought home her first collegiate tournament title in the 160-pound class. Three champs on the men's side at the Evergreen Open. Carlos Valdez won the 157-pound title. Kylan Guerra won the 174-pound title and got EOU Player of the Week, Wrestler of the Week for his efforts. And Hayden Martin won the heavyweight division. LHS girls swim team tied for first place with the Pendleton girls on senior day, while the boys captured fourth place. I have a bunch of the placers and pictures of that on our social media. So if you go to Instagram or Facebook, you can find all the placers. There's way too many of them to read right here. The LHS boys wrestling team took second place at the Oregon Classic over the weekend in the 4A division. It's pretty much what we expected, I would think. Sweet Home ended up winning it. It was Sweet Home and Pendleton on one side, and then us coming on the other side. So Pendleton, I believe, ended up getting third. That photo came courtesy of Arlie Anderson. LHS girls wrestling got fourth place out of the 1A through 6A schools, which I think for the Classic they need to fix it and start doing the Classic just how they do, the high school season, which is 5A and 6A together, and then 4A and below together. The girls went 4-2 on the weekend. They only lost to two 5A teams. They lost to Crook County in the semis and Thurston in the third place match. They ended up getting fourth. The LHS boys and girls basketball has their GOL home opener tonight versus Baker. This should be some exciting hoops. Girls JV at 3, boys JV at 4:30, girls varsity at 6, and boys varsity at 7:30. Baker's bringing a bus full of kids over, and this is not even a playoff game, so tell me that's not a rivalry. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
Good stuff. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be good basketball tonight.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look outside. All of a sudden, it's really not that cold, but yesterday it just like was a shocker, It's been so mild, and then all of a sudden we have, temperatures in the 20s. Let's look at that graphic, Benny. So tonight, 20 degrees, and it's pretty much the same temperature for the next several days, very close, within a couple of degrees either way.
Not fun.
Yeah. So, and doesn't look like much moisture at all.
That's better. That's okay.
You'll take the cold over the cold and the snow.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Or the ice.
Or the ice, yeah, yeah. So
I had to scrape the car 2 times this weekend. It was terrible. I did it with a cassette tape.
Yeah.
That's all that was in there.
Yeah,
Scraping it with a cassette. Who's got a cassette tape in their car?
Well, there's. We won't comment. I scraped mine this morning with a credit card.
I've done that numerous times.
It's funny. When I was a kid, my mom she was doing that, scraping the window, and they had those tin cups, like a glass, like a water glass, but they're made out of tin.
Yeah.
Well, she thought that'd be a great thing to scrape it with, and left these scratch circles all over the windshield. Man,
you can buff those out pretty easy.
my dad was so irritated.
That is funny though. Swirly.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
what happened? Yeah, what happened there? Like, yeah.
Mom scraped the window with a jailhouse coffin knife.
Yeah, so the lesson was like, if you don't want mom to use any tool that there is to get the job done, you need to give her the right tool.
Man, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
They have some really nice scrapers too. Like they got ones that you can it's got a glove.
Yeah,
and
no,
you
I
just
know,
reach
I
in
know.
there and it's heated and all. Like
Yeah,
no,
for
I'll
you and
just
I,
use
it's
a
probably.
cassette tape.
They're never big enough for my hands,
No.
but I have friends that use the de-icing fluid. I don't know if you've ever used that or not.
No.
It's like
That's probably above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I stick to the cassette tape.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with George Mendoza. right, we're back. School Superintendent George Mendoza. How are you, man?
I'm always all right. How are you, Brent?
Happy New Year. I mean, I don't think we've seen you this year yet, right?
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy
It
New Year,
is
Cal.
New Year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't realize we haven't seen. That's probably why he was thinking back to cross country. You know what I mean? Because we probably haven't seen him since
Yeah,
close
I
to.
No, I think you were here in November or December.
I was thinking October, early November,
Yeah.
but before the state championships in cross country, or
Yeah.
before volleyball
Possibly.
stuff.
Well, and we'll start there. I mean, man, what a great way to end fall sports season, right?
Yeah. First, let me
Yeah.
for Kyle. Whenever I see Dodzy doing stuff on sports, and I'm a parent, right? I have kids that play sports, and I'm a person that loves the experiences and the memories that sports does for us. And then when you showcase our athletes, talk about high school athletes or EOU athletes or even the AAU tournament that you just covered, I love that our community has someone like you to be able to cover sports. So that
Thank
means
you.
a lot to me.
Thank you.
And I love that you look like you love LeGrand too. I always
I
get
do.
that yeah, you care about LeGrand and you care about LeGrand sports, and I love that you do that for them, that you guys do that together. So that's
Well,
important.
I just turn him loose, man. I
I operate better like that.
Yeah, no, it's so funny with the transition, because I got to know Kyle through John Mallory, who was Johnny Ballgame and was here and stuff, and then John moved on, and so and I just said, well, I mean, we just talked about it. It's like, well, can't you carry this on, and can't you do something with this? And it's like, well, I don't spend much time in front of a camera.
Right.
It's like, well,
You've grown.
I think you need to adapt.
Yeah, you've grown. Your repertoire I've seen expand over time, whether from communication to pictures to video. Like there's just stuff that, and then I feel like we're lucky to have you.
Thank you. Well, okay, so it's not just me doing stuff for sports. It does a lot for me too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I quit drinking like 8 years ago, and that filled up a lot of my time. You know, and then when I moved back, I had to relocate to get my head okay. After divorce and everything, and I needed something to fill my time, and it really, I mean, it's been a godsend for me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know all of that.
Yeah, that's
exactly,
all right.
but
I'm open about it.
Yeah.
No,
but
okay.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sorry about all the other
No,
things.
it's
but
good.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
He's got a plan.
Yeah. No, I like purpose, and I like purpose and meaning, and it's good that you have that, or at least more of it.
I like kids too. If
Yeah.
you can't tell that they're just innocent. Like they tell you how it is a lot of times. They're honest most of the time. And it's just super rewarding for me.
Good. I love
In
that.
more ways than one.
Happy for us. Happy for you.
Yep.
Back to it was that particular time where our boys and girls won the cross country. I knew we were really good, and I was told we had a chance, and I was told we'd either be top 2 or 3 kind of deal. There's a chance we'd win both, and then when it turned out that way, that was the same weekend where we had the volleyball state volleyball tournament. So
Here.
that
Right.
in LeGrand at EOU at the high
That's right,
school,
yeah.
and so it was one of those weekends where the sporting world was really good for LeGrand. EOU was doing well too with football and basketball that weekend, and we just had a lot of good things happen in LeGrand that particular weekend, and I was really feeling great about our sports programs and the people of LeGrand, the community of LeGrand, and all. That was a really good weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
Well, and that was awesome. And I guess I'm a little bit back to talking about Kyle and this relates to track and so on and so forth, those kinds of things happen by people who are passionate about what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's more than what they're getting paid for.
Yeah.
They just love what they're doing, and that's part of, that's part of this show here. I mean, we try and schedule guests for a whole year, I mean, the AM show, you know, there's not much expense here in the sense of on a daily basis. On this show, I mean, the expense of putting it together, and Benny gets paid, and Kyle's salaried. I'm not paying myself, but we're committed. I mean, we're committed. We're going to do this show every Tuesday and Thursday for the next year, whether we pay for it or not. And the reason we do that is because we love doing it. It's just, it's rewarding to us to kind of hear people uncover the stories and talk about what they're passionate about and stuff. But anyhow, point being, the school district, I mean, you've got so many people in your realm that serve way beyond what they're paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that too.
Yeah.
Big
Right.
time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So school board is what you're focused
Well,
on, right?
no, we can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, but honestly,
yeah.
I'll just go, we'll
Yeah.
say school board for a second. And,
Yeah.
people that have heard me talk once in a while, LeGrand we're not a school district that has like crazy money. We don't have a lot of multipliers in the state. We don't have that many ELL students or migrant students or as much poverty. Out of 197 school districts, we're in the bottom 47 of what we get per pupil allocations.
Right.
And so we like have to hunt for resources. We have to go after grants. We have to be frugal. We have to be thoughtful of what we do. And the thing that we do is we have like a commodity of volunteerism in our school district. We have a lot of people that give time, give energy, coach as volunteers, or work and run the clocks as volunteers, or do announcements as volunteers. We have
Fundraise for their team.
Yes,
as
like
volunteers.
our district is not one of those where we just can we can pay for it all, we'll cover all the expenses. We barter all the time. You experience that with me. We just don't have a ton of money, and so we're always trying to squeeze a nickel, in every place. And of course, I love that we can do things, but also we have to think about it when we do things, because it has to be really meaningful for us. And so I'm very thankful for the volunteerism that happens from everyone that supports our school district or our community, because that's a commodity here. And I realized that from being in other school districts. In other school districts, we had a lot of resources to be able to offer people to do extra things. Here, LeGrand doesn't have a ton of money to basically say, here's this extra money for this extra thing. It's usually, we barely have enough money. You want to do this extra thing, you're going to have to volunteer to do this extra thing.
Right. You saw that this weekend with the Pepsi tournament. That's for baseball.
Yeah.
That's a school activity.
Yep, big fundraiser.
I saw so many people from the school district this weekend.
Yeah.
And they were all there volunteering. Absolutely.
Well, and so back to our school board too, they're volunteers, I'll just say hundreds of hours a year, deliberating, thinking, planning, organizing, helping me make decisions, looking out for our budget, looking to make sure that we follow rules and laws, making sure that we're growing in terms of our outcomes, that we're getting graduation rates up, or we're getting good attendance, or we're getting good data with our achievement in reading and math. And then they just want to support. They're very big on the kids and the kids' experiences, and us making sure that we have a quality education experience for them, but also supporting our staff and looking out for our employees and making sure that we support them well. So very thankful for our school board. We have some really great school board members. I could get into great detail if I needed to, but the reality is we have a great chair, a great vice chair, really good directors. They work well as a team. They definitely question the direction sometimes and give input to the direction, but they just care about LeGrand. They love LeGrand. So
awesome.
Thankful for our school board.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, and this month is school board record.
The School Board Appreciation Month is January. I usually give we don't just think about them in January, although that's the time where they get a bunch of, I'll just say, recognition or plaques or
Box of chocolates.
treats, but the reality is we do appreciate them February, through December as well. But we have a lot to be thankful. And another thing that folks wouldn't realize is there are communities that kind of go up and down or sideways with with leadership in school districts. And it's sometimes that the school board can't get along with the superintendent, or the superintendent makes a lot of decisions that people don't like over time, and then the school board has to make decisions for that as well. Or you get school board members that are just not aligned with each other, and they're just constantly fighting, and then it just crumbles the relationship with the leader or the teachers as well. And ours is very, they look at outcomes. We have a strategic plan of the things that we want to monitor and measure, and then they work through me very well, and it's not a lot of tension, it's a lot of team, it's a lot of trust, it's a lot of collaboration. And if you have a school board that kind of stays on the fiduciary, stays on the outcomes, stays on good policies, rules, or governance, and they're very supportive, usually you get strong growth over time, and LeGrand, I think, has been experiencing good growth over time.
It's a lot like the school board is the GM and you're the coach.
And I don't think I've ever told you guys this. If you didn't know this, I got to the point where, I coached basketball, I coached football, I was an athletic director too. So my live life experiences has been very athlete coach. And I think of leadership through a coach's lens quite a bit. And I knew that when I became superintendent, my favorite lens was going to be that I'm now the head coach, and I have my assistant, offensive coordinator with Scott Carpenter, or I got my defensive coordinator on with Melissa right now with the business person, and I have other coordinator positions at the district office, and then I have my assistant coaches, which are the principals, and so you can think of them that way. Then I have the players, which are the teachers. And then I have winning as the outcome, and winning with students. So it could be winning with students attendance, or winning with students grades, or winning with students, I'll just say with behavior. There's all these winning with students, and then there's winning in terms of facilities, or winning in terms of budget. So there's all kinds of stuff that makes me think about our systems in that kind of way.
That's exactly how I think about it.
Yeah.
That's what brought it up. It's easy for me to relate to that, so it's easy for me to see it like that.
Yeah, same.
Well, and I love that metaphor, and I love that illustration, and I remember when I was a coach, when I was an athlete, and the wrestling coach would actually wrestle with us, or they would run with us, or, and they didn't all the time, but still, whenever you had a coach that was with you and doing something, I mean, they were joking around with you, or they're playing, or there were, and I see that in you. I see you, I was thinking about that weekend that you were talking about when the tournament was here, and, you were on site.
Oh, yeah.
And you were on site to assess problems and figure out, and,
support. I'll just use the word support.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. But still, but it's also the feedback. It's like, we're going to do this next year. We hope to do this many years in the future. And so how can we do this better next year?
Yeah.
What things are not quite working, and how can we make this happen in the future and stuff. And so, I see that in you all the time.
Yeah,
so.
thanks.
You're way different. Like when I went to LeGrand, I graduated from LeGrand High School. I never knew who the district superintendent was. Never had any idea.
But
kids know you.
Yeah, but I would say and I could do more at times. I am in that age where I'm 29 years in my career, so I'm probably more on the done side than the keep going side. So I'm no longer. I don't see myself as an up and comer anymore. I'm more like on the downhill, but I still have a lot of juice. But when you say like you were at our AAU tournament, which I knew it was happening. I didn't go this year, and
you gotta have a break every
but then
once in a
I'm
while.
like, why didn't I go this year? I could have gone. I could have gone on Sunday. I could have spent some time, but I should. And anyway, I did what I did. I stayed home. I watched football. I hung out with my family.
Which is 100% okay.
Yeah, but supporting our kids or supporting our community is important to me too. So next year I'm going to go to that.
All right.
I'm going to go to the Baker games for sure.
Oh, I knew you were going to be there for sure.
So let's zoom in on the school board for a minute, because I mean, at times that's a thankless job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I see social media videos out there of people in front of school boards and they're, you know, they're not positive experiences.
Yeah.
You know, and school boards and school systems are cast in a poor light sometimes. And so, but then when I think about you, and I think about the people I know, and I think about Scott Carpenter, and I think about your board members, and I mean, these are people I know.
Yeah.
And there is a disconnect. I mean, I think that we're fortunate. I think that some of those things that plague other school systems don't plague us. I don't know. What's your perspective on that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do think that you know, today's world has viralized, you know, certain videos or
you
certain
saw it right
things,
here in Oregon a
Yeah.
few months ago.
So anytime you watch like critical things, condemning things, hard things, things where people have strong views, and then they get broadcast, you know, that definitely can resonate with folks, and then they believe like school boards or the school system is bad. But the reality is, again, like I use that, like, we're not perfect, right? We can always get better in reading or math, or we can get better in sports, we can get better with all kinds of things, but we're pretty good. You know, we try hard to do our best. We try hard to make the right decisions. We're very methodical. We look at rules and laws and processes and systems and work within those to make the best decision possible with the resources that we have. Sometimes there are, you know, I'll just say relationships with people that get on a board where there's a lot of tension, that crumbles the organization. And sometimes families say, hey, you know, I want to make my decision on the curriculum that my kid is getting and so on. And there's always choices. You can opt out of sex health curriculum if you really want to. You can opt out of things that you think might be religious if you want to, or the school district is teaching science in a way that you don't like. We don't have a rule that says, no, you're forced to be able to take this class. If you opt out, you can have other options. We always have had choice. Now, some people will choose, I don't want to be in school because you do things the way I don't like. So then they choose private school, or they choose homeschool, or they choose online. So those choices have always been there. They were there 30 years ago. They were there 50 years ago. Online schools, maybe not, but the other choices were there before. But now it's very public that you can have these options and take these options. And if the school district doesn't take care of you a certain way, go somewhere else. And so that's where you've seen, now you got me on a little
I'm
passion.
interested.
Now
in
you
this.
see 40,000 less students in Oregon.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you see millions, or at least a million plus less throughout America, throughout the United States. And it has been because of all of the media, all of the information, and the way things have become, I'd say, polarized and politicized. And so the outcomes of that is what we're experiencing. We're also getting less kids because people in America are having less kids. So that's another thing that's taking place.
Right.
So as a school district, how are we battling that? Like, how are we fighting the fight against kids going to,
I think the only thing,
Baker Webb Academy or
yeah,
whatever?
I think the only thing we can do is, you know, we particularly went and had a relationship with a company called Target River this year, and Target River made videos for us, and they put it on social media and Facebook. They put a variety of things where they hit some aspects of what the school district does. So you put out newsletters, you put out news stories, you put out social media, you express the programs and services that you do as a school district. We wind up saying that we have our own online. You know, we partner with Evergreen Academy, who also does everything the same as Baker Webb. They have online, they've got a robust, I'll just say, vehicle with a suite of resources from asynchronous to synchronous education to even special education as well from a teacher. And then we have our own Eastern Promise courses, dual credit courses. We have everything that you can offer online. We have our own, so that we have our own virtual, basically. We have a HomeLink program where if you want to homeschool and you want to do homeschool, we can get you the curriculum, we can get you the resources to do homeschool. We can even get you tutoring support if you want to have tutoring support for homeschool. Then we have our own brick and mortar classrooms where you can get taught by a teacher every day and be seen and heard and understood and valued and cared for and educated. then we even have hybrid options where if you really want to do brick and mortar for 4 periods a day and then you want to go online, we can let you do online at the school, especially at the high school, or you can go home and do online. So we have a variety of things that we do to try to have options for the world that wants options, but also have accountability, because accountability is usually what creates growth.
Right.
So we have everything, and we try to communicate those things in newsletters or in social media or in little commercials that we put out there. Some of these commercials actually should have gone out to like the Hulus of the world, and other subscription type of stations. And we've paid to do that. But I would say that, that's I'll just say that's one way that we try to fight or combat people wanting to do whatever they want, and they still have that choice, because that's the world that we're in now.
Well, and I haven't seen those videos in my feed, just so
Yeah.
you're aware. So,
No, we did those over the summer,
yeah, and so, but that's a whole nother
and we
conversation.
paid we
But,
basically paid for 2 months to do
Yeah,
that.
but I guess, you said something that, accountability is so it's connected to learning.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I have a friend that I went to high school with and spent some time with him over New Year's Eve, and he teaches college in Spokane area.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, he teaches accounting and economics, and how most of his thing is now asynchronous online, and kids have the option of showing up in his classroom, but if you have 1 kid or 2 kids that show up, there's only a couple of times before they're like, wait, I can do this online, And so I asked him straight up, I said, but is this as effective learning? And he goes, no way, they're not. I mean, this asynchronous, them learning online is not near as effective as them being in class, being able to ask a question, that personal feedback, and so on and so forth. I said, well, why are they doing that? And he said, well, because people are used to ordering their groceries online. He said they want that experience of being able to order it online and have it delivered. They don't want to have to go to the store. And so that is the world that our education system is competing in.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess but we can stand back and go like, well, yeah, but that's not effective learning because there's not as much of accountability. I mean, how do you engage students? How do you help them to understand that, and families, hey, this is a better learning experience for you than what you might choose? I don't know. Somewhere in there's a question.
No, I know. No, well,
yeah.
there's no perfect answer to, depending on the human, but in general, I would just say relationships are still like the number one things that are important for human interactions, and for us to impart knowledge or wisdom, and then for us to get feedback. So the feedback that happens in a classroom, the back and forth, the deeper understanding, the deeper meaning, the modeling, the demonstrations, the work that takes place with feedback immediately based on what you did is still, to me, the most important aspects of learning. But you do get to a point, especially as kids get older, where they kind of like learning at home, or they kind of like looking it up on Google or looking it up on ChatGPT and then putting in that answer based on the question that was given. And to be able to do that, I usually think, though, those are like cheat codes,
right?
To get ahead in this world. And the reality is, it robs us of going through the right process of having knowledge and skills through experience. And I've given, like, the ChatGPTs or the Google type stuff in the world is like, if you're the driver and you're driving the car and you're really experienced at driving the car, you can take it up the hill, down the hill. You can make it do what you need to do, and then the AI or online is your car, and that car sometimes can be a super fast car that can take you there, that can maybe even elevate the experience. But if you're not a driver where you have understanding of how to drive the car or what to do with the car, that stuff will rob you, to me, of knowledge, or make people think that you're smarter than you really are, or make I'll just say it will augment or enhance in a way that's not truly who you are, and then that's how people start to see that that you're a fraud at some level, or that you rely on something else that's really not who you are, with your voice, with your tone, with your ideas and content. So it's just, I think it's important to speed up stuff, or to potentially give us a little bit more flair, but I do think it deprives us. Go ahead.
Yeah. The perfect example is if it fails.
Mm-hmm. If it's
what
wrong.
What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How do you even know that it's wrong?
Yeah.
There's no way to...
So to me, the wrestling with, we're in that weird time too with all of that, and I still think that I get how people like options and like the food to be brought to their house versus them going to the store. Right. We have a world now where where we have lots of options, but I do think that we're in and I use the word, a period of decadence, where we've created a lot of extravagant type stuff, and it robs us of responsibility. It robs us of ownership. It robs us of hard work and dedication that make us better as humans. Yeah, and so there's to what extent is all of this stuff going to really be helpful to us? And then what happens if this goes away?
Right.
And then it's really the person, and the person with the knowledge and the skills and the expertise to be able to do that demanding thing. And that's going to be very important.
Let me get to a couple comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick. Todd Gorham says good morning, and then Bud says it's enjoyable to see the kids interact with the superintendent. I, like Dodzy, never knew who the superintendent was.
Yeah. I would say I got in it for kids and helping kids and making an impact on kids. And if you ever hear this slogan, this is a George type slogan: here for kids, in support of staff. Here for kids. And that's what, to me, a good superintendent, or even a good principal, or even a good all of us should be. We're here for kids, in support of our staff, here for kids, so that we know what our priorities are.
Yeah.
Well, and so many institutions, that's when an institution becomes an institution, because they lose sight of their customer. They lose sight of who it is that they're really functioning for.
Yeah.
You know? And so, going back to what you said, hard work, you said, all of these mechanisms, in some way, they're making it easier for us to get to where what once took a lot of hard work.
A lot of thinking, a lot of processing.
Right. And so,
a lot of failing and getting up.
Right. And so then, and you're right, that is so critical to development.
Yeah.
It's so critical. I mean,
Yeah.
And I mean, so even if you fail and you worked hard at it, there's some confidence building. It's like, I went through that, I did that, and so on. So what is a world going to be like if we relieve working hard? I don't.
It's back to it's going to create catastrophe at some level, and lots of weaknesses that get exposed, and then us having to take the path of growth that gets us back to being strong as humans.
Yeah.
But it's going to be that. So once you go into a period of decadence, you're in your decline, and then once you're in your decline, you're going to have less. So it's whether it's jobs or housing or money, whatever the things are, you're going to have less until you again get gritty, get tough, get strong, and grow the skills you need to get to be able to accomplish the things you need to accomplish to stay alive.
So you kind of think we're in a cycle there, or it's like
in my mind, I've been in that, like we've been this, and we keep trying to be this in a lot of things, and I think we're now fighting for the resources to keep the resources. We're now taking the things that we want to take to be able to still stay in charge, and that's to me, they're called bust and boom cycles too. And if you ever read Ray Dalio is a person that I look at in terms of leadership. He has
I don't read very much because it's too much hard work.
So he has principles for living, principles for life, principles for work. But then he also has a book. It's called The New World Order, and that's a really good book about Chinese culture has gone through ups and downs. Rome has gone through ups and downs. The United States. So we're in these cycles, but I think we've just we've become different with technology. We've become so more advanced at times. And now Amazon can get you something in 2 days if you really want it. All these
You can
things.
get it overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's craziness.
I don't think it's going to hurt us that bad. I look, say, 115 years ago or so. It was probably unfathomable for them to think that kids would go to school every day, for one thing. Back then, you had to work. The kids
Yeah.
had to help around.
Yeah.
Or to take a car to school,
Yeah.
or a bus. No, you either walked. The schoolhouse was, within walking range back then. So I think that's very similar to where, you know what I mean? Like as a cycle wise, it's just kind of part of progression. I mean, it
No,
has to be.
I agree. I think that there's like the world is evolving whether we like it or not.
Right.
And that's a
Fast.
constant. We evolved since we were babies, and we evolved since we were 20 years old. We're evolving today. We're still growing and learning. But I still think that some of the enhancements, if we don't use them the right way, can deprive us of the
Fundamental
skills.
stuff.
Yeah, the skills that we need to
Yeah,
develop.
definitely the
And
fundamental stuff.
that's the part for me that's it's at times cheating us, and I'll use that word again, cheat, or deprives us of the responsibility that we need to have so that we can really be good at decision making and really good at taking ownership or responsibility for our life, but also the life of many others.
The world's gotten so fast, though, that a lot of parents, my generation per se, which is yours too, close, they're working two jobs, or working opposite of their spouse or partner, and like a lot of people feel like they don't even have the time to step in and like help their kids with that part of it, or they don't have the time. Like spelling or cursive. Like spelling, you don't have to know how to spell anymore. This will do it for you. Your phone will do it for you.
It'll correct for you, yeah.
Nobody writes in cursive, and that might be stuff you might need down the line. How are you going to sign your name? Are you going to block print it? Like you might see that in 20 years. That might be the standard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You won't even have to sign your name. You'll have a chip in you.
You can do the Facebook and face enabler for everything too.
I went through TSA the other day, and they're like, where's your real ID and show your face, and that was it, and yeah.
We'll come up with that technology too.
Yeah.
If there's a problem, technology and people that can make money on it will make it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I don't mean to be doom and gloom too.
No,
it's like
no.
I'm not a whatever people use the doom cycle type stuff. We have a really good world. We have a really good life. I'm always in this like I am grateful for what we have. I just think technology can be used for good things and also for not so good things.
It's yin and yang.
Yeah, it's kind of so like this system right here and Bennett pushing buttons in the other room. Somebody asked me not too long ago, it's like, well, because we have a similar system over at City Hall. And John, the city manager, was asking, well, could we train one of the employees to do this, or could we train somebody? It's like, well, yeah, as long as everything goes fine, 90% of the time it would be great. But that 10%, when things go belly up, you're going to need somebody that knows what in the world is going on, Mm-hmm. And I guess that's kind of where I see the world going a little bit. That 10% of times when it requires real problem solving, figuring out what's going on, knowing how this is connected to this,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's some of what we miss along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that example too. But you need the heart, you need the mind, and I don't mind if there's a little place for augmented or generative, but you still need the heart and you still need the mind to drive. Mm-hmm. And we'll just call it the generative or the augmented part should be really an enhancement to the human being or the person's capacity.
Mm-hmm. So,
But
go ahead.
when you look at it through a different lens, isn't the heart and the mind what's building the augment?
Oh yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because AI is not just poofing out of the air. We're building AI as we speak. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is going to go online. It's going to help build AI. So isn't the heart and mind building AI? I mean, it's
That's
not
how
just
it should be that way.
augmentation.
Yeah. Well, the heart and the mind creates the augment for me, creates the generative part. And as long as, again, but the heart and the mind have to be strong, or have to be knowledgeable, have to be experienced, have to be disciplined at some level.
Oh, I
think
agree with that.
if they're not, again, technology could be used for good or not good. It all depends.
It's the best thing that ever happened to us and the worst. The internet.
So I have a total random question. Okay, so, and it has to do with our minority mix in Grand Round Valley.
Okay.
So, I've had people from the outside, say, well, how many migrants do you have, or how many Latinos do you have, or how many blacks, or whatever it might be, and the presumption is like, well, we just don't have that many minorities. The presumption is like, well, are you a racist community, or do they feel unwelcomed? That's the And I want to know what you think about that. Why, you have a very good feel of mix here. Why is it that way?
Well, it's the same kind of, I'll just say, speculation. So it's not founded on data or research. Or true facts, so it's more anecdotal. I would tell you, I'm not sure. We have about 10%.
88.37% white.
Yeah, so we have about 10% of, I'll just call it, minorities in our school district. And dominant Micronesian, Palau, and whatever pathways, whatever relationships, whatever pipeline that was done that created that. And from my understanding, Eastern Oregon University did a lot to recruit Micronesian islanders to come to Eastern Oregon University, and then there became kind of a, we like to live here, or we like the life that's here.
Oh, boom.
And then it started to, I'll just say, populate that way. For Latino populations, whether it's here and then experiences here and wanting to stay here because of those experiences, this isn't necessarily a farm worker agricultural area. We might say that we have natural resources. We have some cherry and some apple type stuff in Cove, but not a sustainable life cycle of anything that grows. And
not like the Walla Walla Valley.
Anything I can grow
there
or
used to
plant.
Be in Cove.
So to me, it's just this region doesn't have an agrarian life cycle where migrant farm workers would just come in long-term and stay and have enough work to do. So it makes it so that you go to those places, whether it's the Yakima Valley of Washington or other, go into Morrow County or other places where there's processing or foods or different things to cut or pick or grow or distribute. So LeGrand is kind of natural resources heavy. So whether we have forest and we have we have some dairy, we have some livestock, but not enough.
Right.
So it just forces people to kind of pick and choose other spots or other locations. And if they do stay here long term, it's because they found that thing, and maybe that's a niche, but it only can sustain so many people.
Right.
And so they stay, but other people look for a different life in different locations in different areas. It doesn't have to do with race, or it doesn't have to do with because I'm Mexican or because I'm white. It just has to do with, like, can I find a job, and a job that can make me give me a good life. And if some people find that and they can stay there, then they will. The other parts too is that sometimes I tell people, now you're getting me to, if there's also not enough, I'll just say Mexicans, it's hard for Mexicans at times to be like, well, I'm in a place where I'm not with a bunch of Mexicans, because now they're losing a little bit of culture, or a little bit of, I'll just say, identity, or a little bit of those relationships. So then they, you can also go to networks or communities where there's a lot of Mexicans. And sometimes people will say, well, like, I want to be with people more like me, because they understand me, they know my live life experience.
And there's nothing wrong with
that. That's part
that's
of
not just
that's what
Mexicans
happened.
either. That's
I'm using
every
Mexican because I'm Mexican.
Yeah,
but people pick and choose those types of things. I fundamentally chose LeGrand because I love LeGrand, or I love Eastern Oregon University. I love the mountains. I love the valley. I love the experiences that I had as a young man, and I love the relationships with the friends that I had in this community, and the relationship that I had with EOU. So in terms of purpose, passion, alignment, it was very easy for me to want to be in this town and to give to this town. But that's the kind of experience that I would say most people probably go through. That do I feel valued or seen or connected? And if they do, they probably stay. But if they don't feel valued or seen or connected, whether it's school or whether it's community, they're probably like, well, let me try something else.
I hated it here when I first moved here, 7th grade. I came from Southern California. I was a minority in Southern California. I grew up with all Mexicans.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody I knew pretty much. And then I come here and I'm just like, what is this? Like, I hated it here.
Did we give you an answer? Did I give you an answer?
No, it's a really, I like that. I mean, because there's, when people have asked me that question from the outside, I feel guilty a little bit. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe we put off some kind of a racist vibe and that chases people off, But the truth is like my experience with you, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, Mendoza, clearly there's, your name radiates something, but it wasn't until I was with you that's like, oh, he's Mexican. I mean, that was so much an afterthought. I mean, it was just, that's George.
Yeah.
That's who he is. I like him. I like the way he thinks. And, and so, and I know not everybody thinks that way, but for me, somebody's race is just an afterthought. It really has nothing to do with my initial engagement with them, So anyhow.
Yeah. No, I think there's a variety of reasons why people live in LeGrand, and I think most of it is, my hope is that because they enjoy this community and they enjoy, I'll just say, all the activities and all the resources that are abundant in LeGrand that want to make them stay, and then it's the humans, the people.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I was in college, one of the things we talked about was how people called a homogeneous unit. Your natural tendency is to want to be around people that look like you, that have your culture in common, and that's just instinctual. But in these day and age, that's not a popular way to think. So there's just it's kind of a mess right now culturally because people have this thing inside of them that is natural for them to feel and natural, but at the same time it's like, well, is that okay for me to feel that way? Anyhow, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no. LeGrand's a great place. I'll just say that. LeGrand's a great place to raise your children. LeGrand's a great place. Actually, Eastern Oregon is a wonderful place.
It's
just a lot of good relationships. And I get back to like there's sometimes I remember, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but in a 15-mile square radius of this Grand Ronde Valley, I'd say there's per person many wonderful human beings that just want good things.
Right.
They just want good things for their kids, or good things for their families, or good things for the area, and they want to volunteer and they want to contribute, and they want to see, I'll just say, healthy outcomes. Healthy outcomes for their children, healthy outcomes for the community. That's what I generally experience.
A lot of compassion, passion, and generosity.
Understanding.
Very much so.
Care for each other. Very team, very family, very together, often.
Well, and I think, I love that we can just function. We're far enough away from other influences that the world can be spinning out there and there can be a whole lot of stuff going on. But when you ask the question of like, okay, yeah, but what does that have to do with LeGrand? Those kinds of things are out there and they're, but are they, what is here?
Yeah.
What are the things that, and I love that most of the time the answer is, yes, it matters, but that's not who we are in LeGrand. This is a little bit of a safe haven place where, things might be going to hell in a handbasket somewhere else, but we're okay here. I mean, do you sense that? Feel that?
I would say yes. And in some ways, I wind up like here again. It's like if you love LeGrand, LeGrand loves you. But here it's like I think at least in our school district, we think of things in terms of order, structure, routine, expectations, accountability, doing your part. Because if you do those things, you get pretty good outcomes. We know that if you make rules or laws that are about not having truancy and not making that impactful, we know that crumbles the impact of people attending regularly. So we usually know that when you take away some of these good structures and then you go into too loose of a structure where it's like you don't have to show up, you're not in trouble. You can do drugs if you want to do drugs, and you're not gonna, we already know like that outcome is just going to create more crumble, and more. I'll just say, it's not going to make the human experience better for everybody else. And it may be that we need to have more understanding or more awareness and more care for people. But it doesn't. When you counterbalance it too far, it just creates chaos. And so that part of it, for a lot of folks in LeGrand, I think there's an understanding of we need structure, we need order, we need expectation. So we don't get into, I'll just say, the noise of everything at times. But we do understand that like certain decisions create negative outcomes and certain decisions make positive outcomes. And we typically choose, whether it's through the path of hard work or through the path of high expectation or the path of you got to do your part. And you need to do your part, because when you do your part, we become better. That we do more of that kind of thinking, and I'll just call it that to me is a better way to create a better human condition. So to me, I see that more often in LeGrand, which I don't want to call that this way or that way, but I do think that that the path of success typically is people being responsible and people having accountability.
Yeah.
No, and I guess I would shorten everything you said to be like, yeah, it is the carrot and it is the stick, and it requires some of both. I mean, it seems like this world right now is, we're just going to offer the carrot. This is where you should go. And humans are just not that. I mean, it really takes some of both.
Yeah. You need to be understanding. You need to, I'll just say, care, and you need to, the lived life experience of others really should matter. And there are systems in place that have been created long ago, but it's like that the world is a world right now, and this is what you got right now, and we can only try to figure out solutions right now for the world that we have. And try to mitigate any poor systems or poor things, but not stay in a place where you overcompensate in a way that really just deprives humans from responsibility.
We saw it firsthand with 110, right? The drug problem.
Yeah.
We saw it firsthand.
No, and
here, we're taking your stick away. You have no control over this anymore, and we saw
and
what
it just
happened.
crumbles you more when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can't say perfect or whatever. I just know we're pretty good at like back to team, back to together, back to family, back to I'll just use one, like being cohesive, that usually gets us through a lot. And
agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you we're like any big metro place or anything like that, metropolitan, urban, suburban. We're definitely LeGrand and more rural, but there is a lot of team.
So let me ask you, and we got to quit, but let me ask you one more question, and that is, do you think your philosophy of operation for LeGrand would work in a much bigger school district?
It's a great question. Public too. Yeah. No, I think on the end of like back to coach, right? I love people, right? I love people, green, brown, red, blue, big, skinny, everything.
You like the big ones too?
I like them all. Like I love humans, and I love helping humans. I don't care who they are. And I'll just say, use the word love. I love, care, serve. Love is what gets us through lots of things. So yeah, I don't have problems, and honestly, I'm an improvement science type person, and I'm an implementation science type person. If you look at back to core construct of a school district, if we were talking schools, professional learning communities, those are shared responsibility. What do we want students to learn? Agreeing on that. How will we know that they've learned it? Assessing that. What will we do when we find out? Intervening on that, rewarding that, celebrating that. And that also implies interventions. That means like if you're below level in reading or math, I'm going to give you more time, more practice, more opportunities to get better at reading or math so that you can get the skills necessary for you to be on level. That has nothing to do with race, or that has nothing to do with socioeconomic status. That means if you need more, I find resources, I find time, opportunity, and practice to get you caught up. So it would resonate anywhere, those types of thinking. Improvement science is really looking at data, looking at information, and then just like we do for wrestling, you practice, you get better at something, you go to a tournament, you lose, you get exposed, you look at concepts and skills that you need to master or technique that you need to get better at, then you get caught, you get taught on that, or you get exposed to that, and then you get efficient at that, and then you get to the next thing, and then you see if you can do that, and then that data will also tell you if you need to get better, and then you get taught, and then you get supported, and then you get monitored on that, and then you get, it's just improvement. Science is pretty much what we do with a lot of things in sports, but also what you can do in reading. And then implementation science is typically, everybody should be doing it. And if you can get 80% of your staff to do the things that they're supposed to do, you start to see consistent results. And that means that they're trained, that means that they're knowledgeable, that means that they get feedback, that means it gets rewarded, it gets celebrated, they get held accountable to it. And then it becomes the standard for the organization. And then you basically, you're doing things, and then there's doing things well, and then there's doing things with mastery. But when you get to doing things well, people start to experience that success. And that's why you see football teams win championships, typically because they have good systems. They have a good offense that's working like an offense, a good defense that knows what to do, and it's consistent throughout the organization. So back to that, like I think more like that, and why wouldn't it resonate? Why wouldn't it resonate in other locations?
Yeah.
It's not like the secret sauce is only for LeGrand. I mean, that secret sauce can be in high poverty school districts. That secret sauce can work in moderate-sized school districts too, or large school districts. And I've given this to our team before. We're focused on learning, we're focused on outcomes, and we're focused on collaboration. I can go deeper, much deeper, but if you're focused on learning and outcomes and collaboration, that's the core tenets of what a good school district does. And there's a lot of reading, or, I'll just say learning strategies, and there's a lot of outcomes that we should be looking at, and there's a lot of collaboration with relationships from the kids to the parents to the community that we should have. If you do those things, doesn't matter where you're at.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. So, hey, Benny, improvement science right there. That's our reel. and when that reel gets out there, like, no, they can't have you. Yeah. Thanks. No. Thanks, George, for being here. Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Can we get us out of here?
Do it. On this day, January 20th, 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton becomes the first woman to testify before the U.S. Congress. 1929, the first feature talking motion picture taken outside is in Old Arizona. That was the name of the movie, not in Old Arizona. 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt is sworn in for an unprecedented and never to be repeated fourth term as a U.S. president. 1980, U.S. President Jimmy Carter announces the U.S. boycott of the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow after the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. 1982, heavy metal musician Ozzy Osbourne bites the head off of a bat on stage in Des Moines, Iowa. That's a story that just kind of gets... I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, it could be.
It's got a
2008, Breaking Bad, created by Vince Gilligan and starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, premieres on AMC. 2020, the CDC reports first laboratory-confirmed case of COVID in the U.S. from samples taken on January 18th in Washington State. The number one song in America on this day in 1986, That's What Friends Are For by Dionne Warwick and Friends. And the quote of the day comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. One more time. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, George.
We'll
Yeah.
see you guys on Thursday.
Yeah, always a great conversation.
Thanks,
See you
Doug.
soon.
Thanks, guys.